Welcome to Mercedes Second Chance Podcast, where we share real life stories about addiction, getting clean, and being given a second chance. Hi, Promise. How are you?
I am so good. I'm delighted and excited at the same time to see you again.
I know. I was thinking today about the first time we met, which was at your event. That was the civil rights dialogue and debate, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you invited. See, I'm new to politics.
Okay.
I work in politics, but I'm new, and I talk about that sometimes. Like I'm like, a year ago, if you would have asked me what a bill was, I would have been like the thing that comes to your house, that you don't want to pay. I didn't know anything about like how a bill becomes a law and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I was new, and a mutual friend invited me to that event,
Yes.
and I didn't know what to expect. I didn't even know that all those people were running for governor,
Mm-hmm.
and that I didn't know there were different parties that were going to be
Wow.
there. And I think it was really strategic that you guys didn't like assign seats or anything like that. So we all just kind of sat together, and I was sitting next to people who, Republicans and independents and stuff like that. And I'm a Democrat. And I didn't know, but we were talking and we were connecting. And then as the evening progressed, and I was really clear, like, what side people were on. But I thought that was really, really remarkable that you got so many different types of people from all walks of life coming to your event, and then having them speak, and talk about like what they plan to do and why we should vote for them for governor, and just all the great work you're doing. So, but you could tell me a little bit more. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Yes, again, my name is Promise King. I came to this country from Nigeria, from Beni tribe, Benin, empire then in the early stage before the European came to Africa. Benin tribe was one of the most organized tribe in African history. I came here after my college. I went to Cambridge. I went to University College London, studied journalism and public policy, became a reporter for the Portland Observer, a black newspaper, Portland Observer newspaper. From there, I went to work for 4 elected officials, became chief of staff. Then I came back, became a columnist for the Portland Tribune, writing on issues on race, politics, and programs. In a nutshell, I am really someone who's curious and I love my people. And I'm a village man. Anytime you see me, I'm in my kufi and in my village wear, and I take pride in being who I am. That doesn't mean I try to blow anybody's a candle off. It's just I want to light mine
Right.
so that everyone can light theirs.
Right.
So that's who I am. I know this is a short episode, but ask me questions.
Yeah. So, how did you grow up? How did you even get to America?
Well, my dad was a diplomat, Nigeria High Commission in Australia, in UK. It was through after my college. First of all, I grew up in a village in a tribal area. I was raised to be a warrior of my empire, and I was raised to fight for things that protect our land and our people, our tribe, our culture, our traditions. That's my earlier orientation is to defend and to protect and to grow. All for the sibilance of our traditional institutions back in the village. So we went when my dad became working for a service. We went abroad, and then at 19, when I finished, then I came to this country because I, met a lot of interest and brought me here, and they worked out, but I stayed. Then I became a journalist and a political advocate. I've been there. Currently, the president, founder of the League of Minority Voters. We founded the League of Minority Voters 13 years ago to give a platform to black and brown and Native and API youth and people of conscious and people of colors leaders to come together and begin to track and build a future we imagine together as a people. A future where no one is belittled, where every excellence is ascribed to every person of color, every person of conscious. So the league has several programs. The league has a speech and debate leadership program.
A
We
speech
have
and debate leadership
it's a
program? Wow.
Yeah, we're teaching kids how to think critically, critical thinking skill, communication skill, oratory skill, and just skills to being able to do interviews and go do college attendance interviews and being able to at least speak to the yearnings of your communities. These are the values and the skills we impart on these students. We also have our regional equity initiative where we help institutions, organizations think through their equity concern and
Wait, it's
equity
called
plans.
wait, can you say that name again?
Regional
Equity
Alliance.
Alliance. Okay.
Yeah. It's one of our programs also. Much of what we do is to ignite passion for civic engagement. And that's what we focus on because our dream today is to have a future we all imagined and a future that has representation. So our job today is to empower that future to come into being, to manifest that future to come into being. I am a man of deep faith. And also, I am nothing without my faith and nothing at my means because everything that I do is poured through that prism of my Creator, and that's what guides me and has been blessed with discernment and discerning spirit and been able to lead and guide and speak and embrace and love and care and share myself. So.
Yeah. Well, I think that's beautiful. That's what like attracted me to your organization and your work and what you were doing. It's all about like love and community and unity and equity. And that's really important because I feel like with all the hate that's going on, you know, blacks are mad at whites, whites are mad at blacks, Democrats mad at Republicans mad at Democrats, and then there's people that don't know what's going on, you know, and love and you know some understanding is definitely I feel the answer because I never thought I'd be in politics after you know being in recovery and everything that I went through, and I didn't have any concern, and it was kind of easier. It was an easier route, but then I would see other Native women and Black women talk about, hey, we're in these, we're at these tables and we don't have any representation. We're talking about we're representing our people, but our people aren't showing up and we need support. Like even if folks help them get in office, they need support to stay there. Yes. And that made me want to get involved. And then as I did, I got intimidated like, well, I don't know, I really don't understand these words. I don't understand everything, but it was my boss and, people like Native American folks and Black folks that said that's the way the system is made for us to feel like we're supposed to feel intimidated and locked out and just not good enough. And it's really just buying past that belief, that stops us from, that gets in the way of us really like making some change. And if we could just get past that, like the world really would change. America definitely would change. So you 13 years ago, you started the League of Minority Voters. It was here in Portland, Oregon.
Yes.
And then, but I know you've expanded because last I talked to you, you were in Denver, Colorado. Yeah. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, first of all, I'll be remiss if I didn't say your story inspired me. I thought I was already inspired when I met your story. Really, it's blew my mind away, and your depth of resilience. So I have to take that one out of my mind to just tell everybody that you are a miracle working person. I think initially when I founded the league, I wanted to concentrate on Oregon. Oregon is so incredibly white, and then I saw the indifference from good people. I saw the complacency from those who say they're Democrats and progressive, but I wanted to really form an organization where both political party can compete for our attention as people of color. So, but after we started having impact, started speaking, then people now say, we like this idea. It's hard work, but it's good hard work.
Right. It's worth the wait.
It's worth the fight. It's worth the efforts.
Yeah.
Because we have an adage in my village that when two elephants fight, when they collide, it's not the elephant that suffers. They are big, huge animals.
Right.
It's the grass and the forest that suffers. The grass beneath their steps that suffered.
Oh.
So when Republicans and Democrats are fighting, it's our issues as people of color, people of conscience that suffers. It's our bill that are not being responded to. It's our children that are not being graduation that are not being responded to. So you have these humongous institutions fighting with just a pawn in between. But for me, I want an organization where we can draw strength from the right and from the left and bring it to the center to revisit that on issues that advance our cause as a people in quandary of our racial past and our racial future. So it is that message that ignited this national curiosity to have a League of Minority Voters in all of the states. We're currently in 9 states. We're building Florida, Michigan, Texas, Arizona, and Georgia. And after that strategy, 50-state strategy, then we'll, of course, have a National Board of Trustees. Then we'll now have a conference. Where do we go from here? How do we position our communities to decide who preside over our politics, over our policies, and over our future?
Okay, so wait, let me rewind. So your vision is to have a League of Minority Voters in every state.
15 states that are called swing states.
Swing states.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then so you'll have those, and then there'll be like leaders and representatives and activists like myself who will get involved in that.
Yes.
And then eventually you see it having like a national conference where like people from each League of Minority Voters in each state would come together and talk about the issues and the policies that are going on in their state. And then resolution and all come together, strategizing and stuff like that.
It's no longer about political party, about purpose and people.
Right.
So political party are so narrow focus. So our issue get lost.
Right. Like if we couldn't identify with any party and we just had to be, then we'd be more accountable. We'd have to be more responsible for the way we're voting, for the way we're getting involved, the way we're treating each other. Yeah, I definitely see that.
Because politicians, they've devised clever platitudes during this issue of what's good for minority voters. And at every election, we are told to vote for them. What we want to do, come together, is vote for our leaders.
Within the League of Minority Voters?
Yes.
Okay.
We have leaders in Native American community, leaders in farm workers communities, leaders in African American communities, leaders in immigrants communities, leaders in API communities who also can lead too. So we want to break that gears and begin to be intentional of building leadership who will create a representation we can be proud of.
Right, that actually represents
all voices.
All
voices.
I think that's what's so powerful is when we talked, we got together. You told me I was a leader and I was a warrior, and that I could run, for office. And I thought, I don't know if I want to do that. Some parts of me thought, oh, I don't want to be ego driven. Then I thought about what people would think, and then I think more importantly, I thought, who am I to, say that I want to run for anything, and who would believe in me? But you are so faith-based. You were like, God has set this up for you. Yeah, he has, your purpose is to do this, and everything else is aligning so that you can do that. And that felt really good for me, because then it takes the pressure off. It's not like my brilliance or my, know-how. Yeah. It's something bigger than me, that I'm just like a vessel being used.
Yes.
And you instill that in everyone. And I seen that when we went to the advisory board meeting.
Yeah.
And that alone was like eye-opening, because everybody there in leadership, there were accountants, attorneys, everybody there for you, friends of yours, and they're all people of color. All from different backgrounds, and they're there to support your vision because they believe in it that much. And to be a part of something like that, I felt like really honored. But one thing you always talk to me about, you say, you talk about purpose.
Yes.
And then you talk about passion. So tell me a little bit about that. Like, talk to me about that. Like the purpose versus the passion. Where do you get the purpose from?
Okay. Dr. K said in one of his sonnets, in one of his speeches, that anybody can be great because anybody can serve. Said anybody can be great.
Anybody can be great.
Because anybody can serve.
Because anybody can serve.
So greatness through service is what we look for towards to.
Okay.
So when you can serve with a purpose, you can be great. So in me being serving as a leader, one of the things that I watch growing up leaders is challenged by purposeless leadership.
Right.
And for me, I said when I grew up, I'm still growing up, but when I do grow up, I will make sure my purpose is above my passion. Because passion are controlled by instincts. Instincts are like tidal waves. They're never settled.
Okay.
Tidal waves are up and down.
Okay, so, but like, because some people say, oh, I'm driven by my passion, and it's a good thing. So, but you're saying that is like, it's just emotional. It's always moving. It's no peace or serenity in there.
No peace and serenity. Not only that, if you're just passion, no purpose, you wither away. You get tired. You get distracted. You get burned out. You're easily manipulated. You just don't have. You won't reach a destination you can look back with pride. But if it's passion tied to your purpose, and that purpose is about justice, about things that elevate our society, you can, that passion is well directed. But if that passion is to pacify your own feelings, personal feelings, then you're not there yet.
Right. Yeah, because it could be like, I'm passionate about going to the NFL, you know, but in reality, that's your own personal thing. You know, it's for you. It's not really for anyone else. But when you have a purpose, like you're an NFL player who starts an organization to help
build house
youth,
women, or inspire people,
or help people buy homes or something like that, then it becomes something much bigger. Right?
Yes, and you're more likely to be successful if you have your purpose dominate every aspect of your life.
Right.
From personal to business to dreams and vision. If your purpose comes first, you're less likely to make mistakes and fall into things that will derail and deflect and distract you and destroy that vision you have.
That's so powerful, because I remember recently talking to you about this breakup I was going through, and how, you know, I felt like I loved him, but I felt like it was kind of toxic and it was distracting. And I also felt like, well, I want to go to law school. I have, you know, I probably want to run for office. There's some things that I want, because I felt God put that in on me, or put that in me, especially me coming from the background that I come from, you know, and being on drugs for so long and being out there. And you talked about my purpose, and I agreed, and I felt like it was divine. And then in doing that, it was easy to say, like, okay, I'm going to let go of this relationship. I'm going to give them over to God, because I have a bigger purpose, you know, in store for me, and I can't afford to get sidetracked, distracted, you know, because everything costs something from you when it's in your life, you know. And there's something else that you said, because also with that, with leaders who you're pouring into, thank you, by the way.
You're very welcome.
And I once heard somebody say, leaders produce leaders, and that's what you do.
Yes.
But someone like me, coming from where I come from, when I start to advance, I've heard, well, Mercedes, you think you're all that, or you think you're better than somebody, or, you know, they start to kind of put me down a little bit for being up here, and it's like I feel this guilt, you know what I mean? And I've seen that in other friends of mine who, you know, are progressing and stuff like that. But you said something that was so beautiful, and it cleared all of it up for me. And you said, you know, don't feel guilty about being successful or being who you are or having a purpose. You said guilt is something the devil uses to steal grace out of your life.
Yes.
I will never forget that. Explain that more.
You see, devil is tricky because he's not going to bring a gun and put to your heart. He's going to attack your mind, and your mind is who you are. When you say, who are you talking to? You place your mind, my name is Mercedes. This is where you place your mind. That's where the devil goes to poison and to shift things and give you the illusion instead of the good news, and instead of the grace that everybody that available for you, he makes you believe that um you don't merit it because you don't have this and that, because you're not pure, because you're not 100% clean, because that is not what, that's not the yardstick, that's not the barometer. The barometer is the love that God gave us, which is the grace which we ride on. That's why we can call ourselves saints. In spite of our imperfection,
The grace, right?
that grace, that level of grace which we give to our little kids or children who can't give us anything back. Grace is the absence of reciprocity. It's free. Once you absorb it, you get it. That's where you injure everything of your life. Your imperfection is right there. Because once you absorb your imperfection, that grace is cleansed. It's as if you're whole. You have not done anything because you're now coming into the new, and that grace is the one that cover you and help you your purpose.
Yeah.
So you don't feel guilty.
Yeah, it's definitely, that grace. And then also then that lets me know, like, I can pray and say, okay, God, help them, because really what they really want is help or to, advance themselves. But maybe they don't have the courage yet or the belief or the willingness to just take that first step. Would you agree?
Yes. One thing as a leader, leadership, you're a pedestal, folks are gonna throw a dash on you. You cannot absorb or respond. I remember when I was a columnist, to anything I write anything, I get half 50% bad, so you were wrong, then 50% say you're the best thing since sliced bread.
Right.
So you can't get carried away because every one person has an intention or why they trying to either dismiss you or debase you. Right. But if you believe in who you are, remember I said you're honey, it doesn't matter what you call sweet honey. It doesn't change its taste. Right. You can call honey bitter. If you taste it, it's still sweet.
It's still sweet. I love that because that's what you said when we were talking about it. I said, sometimes I find it hard to be who I am because to the Native community, I'm not Native enough. To the Black community, sometimes I'm not black enough. And it's one thing, just to be that. But when someone kind of calls you on it and they call me on it and I have that insecurity too, like maybe I can't lead the Native American movement here because I am half Black, or maybe I can't lead this African American movement here because I am half Native. You told me just to be who I am.
Yeah, be who you are and lead everybody. I'm African immigrant. I'm not Black enough for those who...
The Black community.
Yeah, right. I am. So for me, that's why I say, okay, Lord, I'm going to bring the whole world together.
Right.
Black, white, green, yellow, all of your creation together and impart them. I pour into them. I make myself a bridge. So that both Black, white, yellow, green, API, and Native American coalesce into that vision you're giving me.
Right.
So it's no longer about tribalism because I saw tribe, they're very limiting. Right. But it's now about everyone coming to share in the
similarities.
Yeah, the similarities and building bridges across our disagreements and our narrowness.
Right, and that's why you say like your goodness, your grace. That's something I would say. Promises. Well, you're a promised man. You are definitely promised. So when I say that, that's like, it doesn't matter what someone else says about you. Like, it say, oh, Promise is a bad man. Oh, he's a good man. But it's like when you're honey, you're sweet. It doesn't matter if you say we call honey sour, or let's call it purple, or let's call it's still sweet. It is what it is.
It can't change once you know who you are. As a being as God ordained, as someone with a purpose and personal power, and someone who's riding on grace, the horse of grace. You have redemption, you have understanding, you have love. You're not you're not disturbed by anything tossed at you. We say in the village that a lion, a fully grown lion, does not respond to the barking of dogs.
Right. Right.
Yeah, a lion or a tiger do not respond to the barking of sheep or hyena.
Right. They're not worried about what the flamingos are talking
No,
about.
they're not worried about what chicken are saying.
Right. Right.
So once you have that audacity and believe in yourself, you go to a place with dignity and respect. You respect everyone. You know, whether people disrespect you or not, but that's your business.
Right.
Not your business.
You just respect them like that.
Yeah, that's who you are. You love. You're not falling in love. You're a love being.
Yeah.
Because
you keep it.
Recognize that there's strength in love, strength in respect, strength in obedience, strength in sacrifices, strength in all things that elevate human beings, because that's who you are.
Right.
So you're no longer trying to redefine or allow somebody to define you, but
Yeah.
you know who you are in God's kingdom.
And that's sanity. That's serenity right there, because you can eliminate a lot of stuff and stress and health issues.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, because recently I was hospitalized for my stress, and
I told you.
and you definitely like just talking to me and like stopping me, like Mercedes, you can pray at any time, you know, and God will take care of it. You know, the birds in the sky, don't worry about, you know, if there's gonna be wind tomorrow, you know. And when you said that, I thought, oh yeah, because I'm just a little girl who lived in the tent, you know,
who belongs to the Creator.
But I belong to the Most High. Right, yeah.
So you're no longer little.
Right.
You no longer draw strength or power from you as a human being. You now have a redemptive bank where your grace is assured. So you're no longer little. You're an extension of that creates the force of the world. That's who you are.
See how you speak to me? That like...
Yeah, you should walk as a princess, as a queen. I mean, you have only one life to live, and God has made you beautifully and given you a second chance. Use this not as a slave, not as a servant, but as someone who is a treasure trove of dignity and understanding and caring and compassion and kindness. Those are the flowers that. Once you have right on grace, those are the flowers you need to give. Everyone should be safe around you, in your thoughts, in your words, in your giving, in your receiving.
Everyone should be safe around me.
Yeah.
Right. That's important. So you talk a lot about purpose and knowing your purpose. Like, do you believe that everyone has a purpose on this earth?
Oh, that's why we have different, thumbprints. Everyone that is made has a different thumbprint. No one have same thumbprint. So purpose, it could be that just like vessels, like a cup has a purpose to bring water, to retain coffee or tea. You as a human being has a purpose. It could be to be a good mother. It could be to be a good leader. It could be to be a good business person, to create job for others. It could be that you just exist to bring people together. So once you have go through life, you're no longer just about surviving, and you recognize your purpose. Resources will come, things will come. You suffer, and because you ask not of your purpose, so you can't get it. Once you say, okay, Lord, what's my purpose in life?
Reveal that
you
to
discover
me.
that, the rest will flow towards you.
So do you think it's just like a vision God gives you, or do you think it's through experiences it's kind of revealed to you?
For me, before I became a founder, I work as a reporter, I work as a senior post advisor, I work in politics, I work for City Hall. There was that hunger in me. I felt I was just doing something for me. It never really quite that, you make good pay. So go home, get an apartment or a house, and get a wife, get a kids, and just settle down and forget about the rest of the world.
Yeah.
I was never satisfied.
Right.
So and that hunger is what you draw, that draws you to work, give you tranquility and serenity. Once you see that thing that gives you tranquility and serenity, that's your purpose. You don't suffer.
That thing that gives you tranquility and serenity.
Yeah.
That safe space for you.
Yes.
That is true.
Mm-hmm.
That is true. I get serenity and comfort in this kind of stuff. Like, just knowledge and spiritual experiences and kind of connecting with people on like how to get through things and have the tools to get through things that would otherwise baffle me and stop me in my tracks. You know, like that's important. So how do you think, say someone's purpose is to just be like, I don't know, a mother, and they don't feel like that's a big idea, but maybe they're the mother of the next Barack Obama, who knows, you know, so it matters. But they feel like, oh, my purpose is not that great. Like, how do you be in total acceptance and grace with your purpose?
If you have to debase your purpose, that's not your purpose.
Okay.
Yeah. Your purpose will be so overwhelming, so comfortable, so that you no longer contrast it with something else. If you're supposed to be a mother, you are delighted and excited just to have your kids come home.
It's natural in you.
It's natural in you. It's satisfying. You're no longer trying plan A, plan B.
Right. Yeah.
That thing that strike and ignite that passion and that purpose that makes you just, this is life.
Right.
That's the purpose.
And everyone has one.
Everyone has a purpose.
Yeah. So one of the things I wanted to talk to you about was, so this is the second chance, right?
Yes.
Was there ever anything in your life that was like the turning point for you, where you had a spiritual experience and you were like, okay, I have an awakening?
Yes. I tell everyone that, I was born into privilege. And one day, all my friends, his dad gave him a 16-year-old kid. God gave him a Lamborghini, and we were flying, and the front tire just burst off a sudden. We started tumbling to a valley.
14,
yeah.
16.
I was 14. Then we have a 16-year-old, about 5 of us.
5 people in the car.
5 people
in
the
a
car.
Lamborghini.
In a Lamborghini.
Okay.
We packed was.
Yeah.
And somehow on the 6th, I lost consciousness. But I was trying to get away. When I lost consciousness, I woke up in the hospital. Then
so the car had completely flipped.
Yeah, flipped. When it landed, it busted into flame. All of my friends died. I was the only lone survivor.
Everyone in the car died.
Yeah, except me. Because I was tossed out from the windscreen. From the back window, I was tossed out because somebody on my left or right hand had a seatbelt. I didn't know.
You did not have your seatbelt.
Yeah,
on.
That's what it was.
And that's
encouraging everybody to wear seatbelt.
Right, wear a seatbelt.
But that day, God has a purpose that He was going to save me and give me a second chance.
Because He knew you would come to America and you would touch the nations and you had all that in you.
So He saved me, and since then, it's never been the same. Everything I've touched, my loving, my eating, my dating, everything has got to be purposeful. So I feel I'm running a second life, that I don't have time to mess around, to let go of the indulgence that doesn't serve the Creator, doesn't serve humanity, doesn't serve the purpose I've been given. It doesn't excite me anymore.
Yeah.
To just indulge my flesh, indulge my taste, it doesn't excite me anymore. What brings excitement is to have me pour into people, seeing them bloom. That's the best excitement that I get.
Yeah. So do you have anything that you fear? And if so, like, how do you deal with any fear or doubt?
When Jesse Clinton, when you ask Jesse Clinton when her dad was a president, do you have anything you fear? She will tell you, no, my daddy got me.
Right.
When you know who you are in a child of God, and you know God is behind you, come hell or hellfire, you're not afraid. Fear is a function of faithlessness.
Right, because you can't have
is a
fear and faith at
function
this same
of
time.
faithlessness. Fear is unbelief that is somebody you wake up and pray to can't save you. Too weak. I don't have that.
Right.
I have grace in abundance. I have strength in abundance. I have belief in abundance. We all come from a mere sperm drop that factioned into bones and blood and we give birth. And out of that, we became human. That person who was responsible for the transformation in our mom's womb into somebody with teeth and bone, that person can defend you, can save you from every imaginable enemy.
Right. Everywhere you go, on every level, every
level.
front.
But one thing we try to, in our own little mind, think we can save our lives. We're scared.
Right. And that happens when we take our will in our own lives. Yeah.
Trying to wrestle our life from him when we know nothing beyond our nose.
Right. Thank you. Before we leave, I do want to ask you if there was any advice you could give your mentees or anybody watching, or even your former self, but mostly like your mentees and people like that.
Yeah, I got plenty of them.
Right.
Yeah, plenty of them.
What advice would you give?
I asked them to put yourself last and to put others first. And never to...
Wait, put yourself last and...
Yeah, never to underestimate anybody you meet. It's a divine occurrence. Put your last in the first. That when you have food, give. When you have knowledge, give. Don't worry about who you are because the Father in heaven got you.
Right. Yeah. Like you don't have to worry about running out
No.
or them repaying you because you know where your help come from and it ain't from them.
No.
Right.
So the more you give, the more you
receive.
You receive. Because you're no longer relying on your power. You're relying on the power of discernment that He gives. Even our life, it's a gift. Right. So I tell my mentee, be that leaders that give, that care. Let everybody who meets you be a recipient of your meekness, of your warmth. Because people are not afraid of people they fear. They are afraid of people they love. People are not attacking us as a people because we're strong. There are police that are arming to handcuff us. It's their power to love, even those who hate us.
Right.
That make people so unsettled. So my mentee, they know me that whenever you meet somebody, treat them with the utmost dignity. People you saw at our event, they didn't come because we have a great board, or they came because they know that when they come, they get fairness and respect.
And they feel safe.
Thank
you. Okay, so what's the website that people can go to follow the work that you're doing and get involved?
MinorityVoters.org. MinorityVoters.org.
It's not the League of Minority Voters?
No.
It's just MinorityVoters.org.
And you can find me League of Minority Voters and be a part of us. We have our event coming up October 20th.
Okay, what is that?
Our Liberty and Hope Award Gala / candidate, find a candidate forum.
/candidate forum.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're planning. Thank you for being a great part of that planning process.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Drag you to the advisory planning crew. So we want everybody to come and see what is being done. Don't believe in naysayers. Come yourself.
Come and see.
Bring yourself and see the power of our ability to build bridges across the board.
Okay. Yeah. I'm excited. Well, thank you. I'm glad I got to see you, and I'll be seeing you later.
Of course.
All right.
Better. Thank you kindly.
Thank you.
Enjoy your time.
Okay. Thanks for listening. Please like, share, subscribe, and visit our website at mercedessecondchance.com.